What's happening, friends? Welcome back to Dynamo DeFi. My name is Patrick, and on this channel I talk about cryptocurrency, decentralized finance, and economics. Today's episode is another installment in my series about how to build a DeFi passive income portfolio on different chains. In today's video, I'll be focused on the Cronos Chain. And before I go any further, I want to emphasize that nothing I say in this video is financial advice. I'll talk about a lot of different coins and tokens, but nothing I say is implying that you should or should not invest in them. I'm just giving examples. You should still do your own research and establish your own conviction. Cool. Now that that's out of the way, we've got a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. Before I look at the categories for our portfolio today, let's talk a bit about what Cronos Chain is. Most of you are probably familiar with it if you're deep into DeFi, but Cronos is a chain built by Crypto.com, and it uses their native CRO token as the gas on the chain. And additionally, it's EVM compatible, which means that you can easily fork a project from Ethereum or Avalanche or Phantom and bring it over to the Cronos chain. And it's had some nice growth recently. So if we go over to DeFi Llama, which is a great website to see the growth of money locked in different chains, and we can see that Cronos is currently number 9, and it has growth both on the 1 day, 7 day, and 1 month timeframes. And believe it or not, it is actually the only chain in the top 10 that has growth in all 3 of those timeframes, and it has about $2.5 billion locked, which is quite good. So that's a bit about why I'm covering Cronos today. And so which are the categories that we'll be looking at for our portfolio? And if you've seen my other videos in this series, which I'll link in the description, this will be reviewed for you. But as a refresher for new people, we have stablecoins to start. That is usually pegged to the US dollar, sometimes pegged to the euro or pound or other national currencies. Then we have our high conviction large cap plays. I don't have a mid cap category, so for me, large cap is usually anything in the top 100, over $1 billion market cap. I kind of know it when I see it, but the high conviction part is what's most important. That means it's something that I believe in the team of, and I'm willing to hold through a downturn. High conviction small cap, same idea, but these are typically smaller. That's why they're called small caps. Oftentimes these will be in ecosystem specific DEX, and they might be inflationary. So these are going to be inherently riskier than the large caps. And then moving on to the fourth category, this is going to be the most risky. We have our Moonshot or degen projects. And really there's 2 things that could put something in this category for our DeFi portfolio. It could be a micro cap. So in that case, it's risky because it's a small project, but it has higher reward because it could blow up in market cap. And then the other thing that would put something in that category is there are farms that have insane APRs. So these will have an APR that could be, 1% a day, 2% a day, maybe even more. And in that case, because the APR is so high, usually it's a riskier protocol that you're farming on. That's why this would be that's why those would be in this category as well. Cool. So now let's look at the protocols that we're going to use for our farming on Cronos. And even if you don't want to use this portfolio strategy, you may still find these useful as a primer to the Cronos network. First place we'll look is Beefy. Beefy is an auto compounder and yield aggregator, and it's on many chains. Love Beefy. Probably one of the most useful protocols in DeFi. We'll also look at Tectonic and Mimus. Mimus, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that, but basically these are both money markets and lending. I don't know how to pronounce it, I just know what it does. So we'll look at these for single-sided yields on certain tokens. Then additionally, we'll look at some DEXs. So we'll look at VVS Finance, which is the largest DEX, and Meerkat Finance, which is the second largest DEX. Additionally, we'll look at the Meerkat Optimizer, which is an optimizer built on top of the Meerkat DEX that allows you to boost your yields. Cool. So let's jump right into it then. If we go back and look at our portfolio, the first thing that we'll want to find is a stablecoin farm. And usually we can find something 10 to 20%, depending on the market conditions, maybe even 20 to 30% on this, and that would be pretty decent yield for stablecoins. So let's go and look at our protocols again. So the first place that you could go for this would be a lending market, and this is going to be sort of the most basic and maybe the least risky thing. So you could go to Tectonic, for example, and say, okay, well, I could lend out my DAI and earn just over 8%, maybe 8.5%. Not bad. That's some pretty good rates on USDT and USDC as well. And that'll be fine, much better than a bank account. But I think we can do better. If we go to Mimus, then we can see the yields are really good. So 26% on USDC, for example. The only catch is 18.7% of that is our Mimus, which has a 6-month vesting period. And in the world of DeFi, especially on a smaller chain with a smaller project, 6 months is a really long time. There's no guarantee that that will hold its value. There's no guarantee that this project will still have an active team. I apologize if you're the team for this project. Nothing against you personally. It's just this is how things go in this sort of market. So I would consider this extremely risky, and there's no guarantee you're ever going to get that yield. Another route you can take besides lending is to look for liquidity pools. So sometimes you can provide liquidity between 2 different stablecoins, and then you'll actually earn rewards for providing that liquidity. And so, for example, you can go to Beefy and you can filter to stable LPs. That's pretty useful. And we can see USDT, USDC on VVS is 11.4%. So that's, I would say, the best one we've seen so far out of all these options. So that is currently currently that would be the stable LP I'd go with. However, I happen to know that Mad Meerkat has some good options as well. If we go to Mad Meerkat Optimizer, then we can see they have USDT, USDC for about 27%. And this is not guaranteed. This yield itself is risky, even though your principal is protected, as far as, as protected as it can be when you're using a DeFi farm like this. But basically, they're taking your MMO, MMF rewards and using those to farm to earn additional rewards to boost your yield that eventually goes back into stablecoins. So this yield can fluctuate quite a bit. However, just seeing that right now, 27%, that's pretty good. I would be, I'd be very happy earning that on stablecoins. So I'm going to say this is my stablecoin farm for this portfolio, 27%, nice and crisp on USDT, USDC. So moving on, next we would need to find a high conviction large cap, and I may do 2 plays on this, given that it's 40% of our portfolio. And by the way, one goal of these videos is that you, not that you put all your portfolio in one chain that I talk about. It's just to show you how to build a portfolio and that there are opportunities on every chain. There's stablecoin farms on every chain. There's large cap farms on every chain. There's degen projects on every chain. But in reality, you want to spread out between 2 or 3 different chains probably, and you maybe have 5 to 10 positions at a time. Cool. So let's find a large cap coin now. I'm going to go back to Beefy, and I'm going to look at all assets and sort by TVL, given that that's going to show us a lot more of the large caps. So Crow ETH, Crow BTC, those are actually both pretty solid farms. If you're on Cronos, you are probably bullish on the CRO token. If not, maybe find a new chain. But CRO BTC, I mean, that's pretty good, 44%. Atom CRO, though, this one I really like because Atom is one of the coins that I'm most bullish on. It is for the Cosmos ecosystem, and 92% to pool Atom and CRO. That is incredible. So I'm definitely going to include that in the portfolio. And maybe for the second one, I want to find CRO paired with a stablecoin. And the reason for that is just that that gives us some more exposure to CRO, but because it's paired with a stablecoin, its risk profile will be a bit muted. So we can see there's a decent one here with 51%. But if we go back to Mad Meerkat Optimizer, then there should be some good ones on here. And yes, CRO USDC at 170%. And so this is APY. It's not APR, so it's not totally apples to apples with what we saw in Beefy. This is APY as well. I apologize. So it is apples to apples, and 170%. I am definitely going to go with this one. So we now have CRO USDC earning 170% APY with, let's say, 20% of our portfolio, and then we have Atom CRO with 92% APY, also at 20% of our portfolio. And so, now that we've built out 70% of our portfolio, we're earning an average of probably, 80% or so, which is very nice. It might actually be even a bit higher, might be closer to 90%. So as recap, we have 27% APY on our stablecoins. Then we have the 40% split between 92% on Atom CRO and 170% on CRO and a stablecoin. So the next thing we would find in our portfolio is a high conviction small cap. And like I said, this will often be an ecosystem token. So in this case, I'm going to look for a DEX on CRO, which will often perform very well if the ecosystem performs well, and sometimes outpace the native gas token, although not all the time. And one way that I like to find DeFi projects is say, well, what's useful to me? And as I'm building this portfolio, I have found that Mad Meerkat is very useful to me. So I'm going to want some exposure to that protocol itself. So if we go back to Mad Meerkat, and I'm just going to go straight to the optimizer because this is going to be optimized versions of the farms. And we can see that MMF CRO is currently 7,200%. And, I consider that to be an acceptable yield. More than acceptable, in fact. And of course, you're not actually, or you're extremely unlikely to get this yield. But that's still going to be a really nice yield, day to day. So I'm going to put this 20% in this pool here, MMF CRO, and then if the ecosystem does well, this should do well as well. Cool. So moving back to our PowerPoint, now we have the only thing left we have is our Moonshot or Degen project. And so one way to find this would just be to go to Beefy. Although, if you really want to find the most Degen projects, you kind of have to, really dive into the ecosystem and spend time on Twitter or Discord. But actually, just looking at the APY on Beefy, I was able to find a decent one. We have Dark Crypto, which runs through MMF, and this is a fork of Tomb. So basically, they have their token Dark is pegged to the price of CRO, and then Sky is going to be their governance and rewards token. And as you can see, you are earning roughly 1.8 to 2% every single day with these tokens, and can't really complain about that. So if we go to Dark Crypto, we can see here their token Dark is so far holding the peg. This is of course extremely risky because there's no guarantee that it is able to do this forever. It is audited, but any of these algorithmic stables are going to be very risky. But in this case, I'm going to say, this is a Degen Moonshot farm. So I'm going to put 10% of the portfolio in the pair of Dark and CRO. So in theory, this should just stay, the price shouldn't change. This should just always be equal to CRO, but I should be earning about 1.8% every single day on this part of the portfolio, which is really going to boost the yields nicely. And then the great thing once you have these boosted yields is you don't need to always auto compound them. You can take some of the yield out and you can reinvest it into small caps, micro caps that you think have potential to grow. And that's how you really are able to grow your portfolio over time through yield farming. What I like to do is have my blue chips, take the yields, reinvest those into micro caps. If I've invested well, those micro caps grow, take profits, put it back into blue chips, and then repeat this cycle to grow the portfolio over time. And if you do it right, it can work out quite beautifully. Cool. So that's my portfolio in a nutshell on Cronos, or how I would build one. This isn't a real portfolio. As a recap, we have our stablecoins in a pair on Mad Meerkat Optimizer. We have our large caps split half into Atom CRO on VVS and half into CRO USDC on Mad Meerkat Optimizer. Then 20% we have MMF and CRO paired on Mad Meerkat. And then finally, for 10%, we have the Dark Crypto and CRO Tomb fork paired for 1.8% per day. And overall, this yield, if you were to do the calculations, would be well in excess of 100% APR on average. Just off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure it would be over that. If not, it would certainly be around 100%. And so if you put in $1,000 on this, you're probably earning $3 to $4 a day. And over the course of a month, that's going to be over $100. And then that's $100 that you could just take out and spend on something, or you could reinvest it into small cap projects and grow your portfolio. Hope this was helpful. If you have any other farms on Cronos that you like to use, be sure to drop a comment down below. And if you have any other ecosystems you want me to cover, you can also drop a request. A lot of people have asked for Harmony and Near, Aurora. Those are definitely up on the list soon. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. That's all I got. Till next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.